Assalamu alaikum. Good evening and welcome to NTV's weekly chat show, Talking Point. I'm your host, Syed Neaz Ahmad. Some 10 days ago, London, like many other European cities, experienced some carnage and killings. While we are sorry and our sympathies go out, our hearts go out to the victims and their families, we also feel sorry for the society, that we live in a society which has to suffer, which has to bear these actions of some deranged persons. While we are sure that the law authorities will find out the culprits behind these carnage, but as they say, law has a very long hand. And who else would know about that than our guest today, Nashit Rahman, a very prominent lawyer in London. Welcome to the show, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I'm honored and privileged to be an honored guest in your famous show.
It's a privilege, and coming it from you, I'm honored too.
So kind of you.
So kind of you that you accepted our invitation and you came. Mr. Nashit Rahman, a lawyer, how did this journey begin from your childhood to make you a lawyer and also a very famous media personality?
I born just around the corner in Islington in late 60s, while my father was a student of London University doing his PhD. And I don't have any memory from London. As a toddler, when I returned back to Bangladesh, I have my whole life in Fuller Road in Dhaka University. My father was a professor, and I have had my school, college and university in University Laboratory School, Dhaka College and Dhaka University. And I was playing, you name it, everything, football, cricket, baseball, basketball, volleyball, but I was not good at any game.
But you were good at studies.
Yes, I was very good at studies, and my passion was I have to have that top position. First, second, first class. So that was my passion, and I was a keen debater as well. And I like to talk, and I like to debate, and I like to talk about whatever I think with logic, passion, and understanding. It's not that I have to win. I have to establish my philosophy and my logic. You may not agree with me, and I may not agree with you, but we must debate and we must discuss. That's my motto from my childhood. And while I was a student of school, it was a really turmoil period in Bangladesh, Ershad era. Every day we used to have tear gas, fighting, universities closed down, curfew, you name it. And I was a big fan of football and cricket. I used to watch Abohani Mohammed in Dhaka Stadium. Again, there is tear gas, fighting, and you know.
Yes, those days remind me of the 60s when I was a student.
And then when I was in Dhaka College, it really opened my mind and the different faculties. I mingle with the different background, because from University Laboratory School Fuller Road, everyone is same educational background, social background, financial background, and you really don't have the spoiled boys.
Right.
You have the political boys in Dhaka College, the drug addicts, the gundas, mastans, the first from 6 different boards. So you have the blend of people. And Dhaka University is really mind-blowing experience for me, because I never reside in any hall. So I don't know the mass life or hall life.
Which hall were you attached to?
Mohsin Hall. I rarely go attend my hall 5 or 6 days in whole university life. Just every year, pay some money, formalities. I reside in Fuller Road. So that was a journey. And then I became a lawyer from Dhaka Bar, High Court. And I used to practice with Barrister Manuel Hussain, and then Bangladesh Environmental Lawyers Association, which called BELA.
Isn't he the person who became, I think, an advisor to the caretaker government?
Absolutely, yes. He is son of Manik
He's
Mia.
related to the famous Manik Mia?
Yes, elder son of Manik Mia. He was my father's batchmate from Dhaka University. And then second journey is again London life from 1997, 2 decades.
Right. See.
That's my journey.
Right.
And from very beginning of my life, while I was 4 or 5, I wanted to become a lawyer. I don't know why. I am the first lawyer in my whole family, from maternal and paternal. And my grandfather did his PhD from Al-Azhar in late 40s. My father did his PhD from SWAS in late 60s.
What subject was his?
Quran. Yes. Logical part of Quran, philosophical part of Quran. And we have more than 40 teachers in our family. It's really a teaching family. My maternal uncle, my paternal uncle. When my sister is a teacher in Newham. So I'm just
You're carrying on the lamp.
Yes. And it was from the very beginning I want to be a lawyer.
Nothing else?
No.
Not a cricketer?
No. The cricket is my passion. I'm not a cricketer.
Right, see. But there are a lot of people, see, who have the passion, but they don't become a cricketers, like most coaches, see. Once upon a time, they were maybe a good cricketer, but never the top ones, and never the top ones also become very good
Absolutely.
coaches.
And you have to understand from our point of view, while I was a toddler, while I was a small boy, I never liked my class fellows who spent whole day in cricket field. Was a naughty boy in my eyes because he's not studying.
Right.
So there was a dilemma.
Yes. Well, I think we have a system where sports is a separate thing and study is a separate thing. So a good student is never a good sportsman.
Absolutely.
But whereas here in Britain, see that universities, see, most good students are good sportsmen as well. See.
Absolutely, absolutely. And mindset.
Yes.
Because if your parents, if your teachers, if your society leaders say you have to be a good student to be a good boy,
Yes.
to be a good citizen. Your
There's
perception.
a saying in Arabic, al-jism al-salim, al-aql al-salim fil jism al-salim, a healthy mind and a healthy body.
Absolutely.
The same thing. See.
Absolutely.
You as a lawyer, how do you see what happened recently in London, and then a particular person's name came up, and then suddenly he was declared he's a Muslim. We as Muslims feel sorry about that because the entire Muslim Ummah seems to be standing in the dock. We are accused. Though we are not responsible for it. He was born as something else, see. Not Khalid Masood or not anything else, but and not a Muslim. But we feel that we have done something wrong while we have not, see. Do you think this feeling is right, or have we failed somewhere? Have we not understood our preachers who are out there trying to convert people to Islam? Are they doing their job correctly? Is there something wrong about it?
There's 5, 6 different perspectives. One is security perspective, one is intelligence perspective, one is British perspective. We are talking about a small segment of the perspective, which is Muslim perspective.
Right.
In context of Westminster bombing.
Right.
So from a Muslim, a British Muslim, regardless color, background,
Sure.
nationality, what I think, why is my responsibility lies, what we can do as a Muslim community. If we just play the blame game, if we do not take our fair share, we will fail, and we are failing. And if we want to criticize each and every aspect of mainstream media, the intelligence community, the law enforcing authority, and political regime, we will not gain anything. We will make them hostile. So we have to see the bottom and between two lines. As a Muslim community,
leaders are going out and saying, yes, we sympathize with them, we are collecting money for them, we are doing charity for them, we are taking part in the marches, laying wreaths, but
I totally understand that perspective, but what we are doing, the root cause from my understanding is there is so many converted Muslims from jail and firebrand Muslims, hate preacher, what the mainstream media is calling them.
Yep.
So what is our duty regarding that conversion? And if you look from the psychological background, if you look his childhood, he have 3-4 surnames.
Yeah.
We understand the broken family. Absolutely.
His mind must have
and
been.
he have psychological treatment for his blood trust. Before he converted to Muslim, he was a violent criminal. So we know that past. What we are doing about our boys, our communities, converted Muslims, if we don't think on that part, we'll fail.
But don't you think the preachers, the chaplains who go out in prison, see, they have a far greater responsibility. I agree with you that the larger community has we as parents, we as teachers, we as media persons, we have our own responsibility. And we have to realize that there is a problem there. If we don't realize that the problem is there, then we will never find a solution, see. That is true. But where is the immediate responsibility goes to? The person who is trying to preach them, spreading the word of God, see. And in his twisted mind, that poor chap who is there at the receiving end, in his twisted mind, he takes it differently, probably an escape from his present condition, see.
What my understanding is, the chaplain just converts someone, he just recites the kalma. The main conversion is not by chaplain, it is by the inmates. So there is a disease within the jail system, and we have had several reports regarding drug, drone activity, antisocial activity, cigarette and crime, and gangland. Within the jail system, they have gangs, different gangs, and the salary and the budget cut. It is killing the jail system, and we are just a tick box nation. You or I, we are ill. If we went to the NHS, they will take, yes, Mr. Nashit Rahman was seen by a doctor within 4 hours. You die, I die. Yes, they have performed their duty. There is no human approach. If we go by tick box, we will fail. Yes, I do agree. Chaplains have their responsibility, and they are failing because under the jail code, they have very limited duties. And when I am brainwashing you, or you are brainwashing me, out of one day 10 hour, next day 5 hour, next day 3 hour, and the chaplain once a week, I don't think that he is.
How short is the period of interaction?
2 hours for 20 inmates. Say 5 minutes per inmate, and you have whole 70 hours to indulge me. So that poor chaplain cannot fight with you when you have that personality, when you have that prolific words, when you have the character, when you are a gangland boss. You will win.
The damage has already been done.
Absolutely. The whole jail system is failing. It's not only in this part of the world, it's also same in USA.
Have you gone inside the prisons here?
No.
No, I mean as a counselor,
No, because I don't practice criminal, but I read the Chief Inspector of Jails report and Chief Inspector of Border Agencies report, which is relevant to my practice. So I know from their own report what's the failings.
Now, when you say we are failing, how can we turn our failings into success?
If there's 10 people and 7 is accusing me, and I'm just thinking about them, I want to condemn them.
Right.
8% will say I'm bad. When I am saying 8% is institutional racist, 9% will say I'm bad. So I am taking all the blames while I am not there. Well, I haven't committed that crime.
Right.
So I have to understand what I have to do from my perspective to debug their argument.
And that is the question, what do I do?
So we have to think in the totality. As a father, whether you are taking your fair share. As a lawyer, whether I am taking my fair share. As a journalist, there's so many counselors, MP, you name it. From every perspective, whether we are doing our own duty, and as a overall society, think about the internet, whether the father and mother, they really have a control over their child. Think about both perspectives, from the terrorist perspective and from the antisocial activity perspective. I don't think so. And they really don't understand the parental control. It's very easy. You just said, my child who is 7, put 7 years. He's using this iPad. This son is 12, put 12 years. He really cannot go for anything which is over 18, 19, or 20.
Well, on this very interesting point, we take a break. And when we come back, we will continue with this discussion. Thank you, viewers. We'll be back soon after this. Don't go away.